barriers that the youth confront in developing a deeper faith, in developing a faith that goes beyond mom and dad and the local church that they might be a part of? Are there any that come to mind to you in this moment about barriers of that?
They always seem a little resistant. Sometimes it could be an attention span issue where they don't want to divulge the time into it. So many other things be coming to their mind, and the internet. There's so many other distractions, I guess is the word I'm looking for, that keep them from staying focused onto one particular topic or issue, and kind of leads them astray. They're scared about being wrong, so they end up becoming bystanders. And so often, instead of letting them learn and make a mistake and letting them learn from it, we kind of criticize it and that mistake, instead of giving them something to springboard and bounce off of. And letting them learn that way, and letting them fall a little bit and helping them back up.
Yeah.
They're afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah, and I guess that would I would imagine come down to peer pressure and such things. How at that age, how do I look in front of my peers?
Absolutely,
kind of thing. And we've all lived through that. And I was thinking previously that in this peer culture in which they live, they like to share common experiences, whether it be something they saw on Facebook, whether it was something they saw as a tweet or Instagram or whatever, and that kind of is the campfire of which their oral tradition kind of lives. And knowing that we live in a culture that is unchurched, I would imagine they don't have that opportunity in school to connect with people of faith, their peers of faith, to talk about those common experiences, which I would imagine is another hoop we have to jump through to deepen their spirituality, I would imagine. Have you run into that?
Yeah, that goes with the phrase we talked about in youth, how they share it in school, and they said, in your circle of close friends, it's all right to, talk about God and share a little bit, but you get outside your close circle, and it's kind of a no. It's kind of stays in the circle. It doesn't come out of the circle.
Yeah.
Again, and to be, because they're afraid of being picked on, being outed, being not in.
Yep. It's real easy to be salt and light, salt of the earth and light of the world in church with those that think like you. It's a whole lot more difficult when you're confronted with those that you love, those you respect, those who are your friends, to be that same salt and same light.
Yes, it's something we definitely need to encourage them, and they're gonna and let them make some mistakes and fall, and hey, would you learn from talk to them about that? Would you learn from it?
Well, let's go a little deeper here, and let me cut right to the chase on this. Our discussion so far has been about this idea of borrowed theology, but there may be some viewers and some listeners who are thinking right now, okay, it all makes sense, theologically this makes sense, but if we cut to the chase, why is it important? Why is it so important for our youth to develop a workable, authentic, experiential theology rather than a just simply borrowed theology?
Sure. 2 Timothy 3:16 says, all Scripture is breathed out by God and profitable for teaching, reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness. And so that's really a good springboard there. So it gives good habits. Kind of like, people can have bad habits with eating, exercise. Same thing goes for the Bible. You can have bad habits with your relationship with God, not praying, not reading, not studying the Bible. So, good habits lead you to a better, healthier lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. So those disciplines, then you're saying,
the
teach
disciplines.
them to be disciplined to be able to do that. Yeah.
They become more knowledgeable. So your hope is that when they're teaching their kids, that they're teaching them the correct things, kind of like Timothy's grandmother and mother, teaching them the right thing, to pray and to read the Bible and study and correct theology. So if you're going to become disciples themselves, it's important to study and know what you're talking about, so you're not passing along bad information.
Yeah. especially to their peers.
Yeah, especially if you're, it helps them avoid false teaching.
Yes, yes, yes. Because I think our youth of today don't understand the power that they have, especially within their peer groups and such. And and I guess this is maturity, that as we get older, we don't really care what people think as much as we do when we're in junior high.
Right. Yeah. And they have influence. So there's kids in the church that are younger than them. So and they kind of look up to them. You kind of look up to that next generation. So that even that generation behind them, you typically in that 6th through 12th grade range. So that elementary school kids are looking up to the older youth.
Absolutely.
And so it's important for them because they are role models.
Yeah, and that means that
they don't even think about that.
Yes, you're absolutely right. They are giving a hand-me-down theology to the young kids,
right?
Based on what they say and do, and how they exercise their faith and spirituality. Absolutely, yeah. Well, let's talk about the viewers and the listeners of this program and such that are parents, that are grandparents, that may be Sunday school teachers, that might have influence with our children and youth. How can we help them? How it's important to do so, but can you just kind of share, can you give them some handles on this to kind of empower and equip them so that they can help the youth of today?
Yeah, they call them the P's of faith. So the first one is principle. So you find ways to talk to your kids about God, and using real life situations is a great tool to do that. The second one is pattern. So not only do you talk to them about it, but what you do has to match with what you say. Yeah. They can't be opposites. Then you confuse the message that you're giving them. You have to be persistent. So you have to live out your faith. You have to, it's not going to be a single moment with them. It's kind of a whole bunch of series of moments put together that's going to give them their faith. And so you got to be persistent with that. Participation. You have to be active. In their lives, care about their viewpoints, give them experiences that will help them develop their own faith and what they believe. I talked about this a little earlier about praise. Too often we criticize what they're doing wrong. We don't praise them for what they're doing right. So when they do something, you did a great job today. Helping out today, thank you. It goes a long way to encourage them to keep doing that particular thing that you praised them for. Right. And the last one, prayer. Pray with them, pray for them. Yeah. Make that a habit. Let them see you pray.
Sounds like a lot of those P's are all about the idea of also granting permission for them to think outside the box, to think beyond what mom and dad say, and having those open, prayerful dialogue with them to even disagree.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as long as they're respectful,
sure.
You definitely encourage them to, talk about it and disagree and why you disagree. And you always think that you can't learn something from them. I think one of the things I try to look for in my youth group is what can I learn from them? What are they teaching me? We always look at it from an adult as we're teaching them, but we can learn from them as well. Absolutely.
And just the permission to ask questions, to dive deeper, to think in ways that perhaps they have never thought is just as good for youth and adults and seniors and all the way through. So
yeah, absolutely. It's very, very important to keep them an open mind.
Yes. What about the folks that are listening and viewing and such things that might be part of a congregation? Folks that may or may not have youth or children in their congregation, but they know that there are some of lives that they can impact with faith. What can you share with them? Anything that they can do?
Yeah, it can be from simple to big things. So a simple thing is to just introduce yourself. Get to know their name, and then when you see them on, church on Sunday, hello, John, it's great to see you today. I'm glad you're here. You know, hope school's going well. Give them, just a quick encouraging line. Hope school's going well. I've been praying for you. Let them know that you're thinking of them. Something very simple and small.
Relationship.
Yeah. Which builds a relationship.
Yeah.
It can be bigger. You could be you have a mentorship program. So you can be a mentor and help them in that way as a bigger scale. This helps them, all this kind of helps them have a sense of belonging to the church, that they have self-worth, they're loved. You want to get them to say, instead of a lot of kids will say, this is my parents' church, you want to get them to say, it's my church.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, the times that I've heard over the years that our children and youth are the church of the future is, I think, heresy. It's the idea that they are the church today. Absolutely, no doubt about it. Let me ask you this in about 15 seconds. Can you just give one last pearl of wisdom on this topic to the folks that are listening?
Be intentional. With the youth, set out to be involved, value their opinions, encourage them, and realize it's everybody's job to participate in the lives of our youth. It's not just a one-person job, or
it takes a community.
It takes a community.
Absolutely.
It's the love of all.
Absolutely. Leon, thank you so much. This has been enlightening, and I want to thank all of you for joining us today on the Encounter program, and may you have a blessed week, and God bless.